you can stream. I want to keep this meeting up. Please assign another host. You know how on Instagram you have like the split screen and you can do it at the same time when you're doing lives or whatever. But I
Yeah.
had too much audio going at the same time because on Instagram they don't have a feature where you can turn off the volume coming out of your phone. Like you could turn the volume all the way down, but there's still sound coming out. Um,
Okay.
so if I have like the computer going and like speakers and it's like there's way too much sound going, so I
You know more about that than I do. I'm
not
a
sure,
little bit lost on all
not sure concern. All right, cool. Give me 1 second. Let me type this in. You use you use Facebook as well? The same spelling as your first and last name?
Yes, I use my legal first name, which is Ashley, Ashlee, but Facebook I don't really use for like public and professional use. It's more just like friends.
All right. Well, I won't worry about it. If you wanted me to tag you on there, I can later.
Nah, don't do that. It's fine. There's a lot of personal stuff there.
Cool. All right, let's do it.
Next week's gonna be cool too.
All right, awesome.
Super Bowl is gonna be cold and rainy.
Yeah, it's cool to see them like build that whole stage setup over there on over here on Ocean. Um,
Oh yeah, I ran by there yesterday. I went for a long run.
it's just a flu. It's like it's right there. It's like a couple blocks up from where I am.
You're
And
my neighbor.
yeah, we're streaming, so everybody can come visit me. I'm on Fourth and Ocean.
Exactly. Let me tell you exactly where I
Come
am.
visit me, everyone.
I'm not gonna do
No, no,
that.
you don't do that. It's but it's interesting to see how it went from like, I mean, they're always doing stuff here in Miami. I was like, what are you guys creating over here? And they're like, this is for the Super Bowl, and they started weeks ago.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just putting on Instagram. I'm gonna put your handle too. Live with Jasmyn at. Tell me your Instagram handle.
Atma Shanti, ATMASHANTI 108.
Doesn't pop up on the thing. You know,
A T is in Tango, M is in Michael. A.
that's gonna be tough. You have to spell it for me slow because you know normally when you start the spelling it like pops up. It doesn't do that on the
Yeah.
live. So you have to.
A is in Alpha.
Go.
T is in Tango.
Uh,
M is in Mike. A is in Alpha. S is in Sam. H is in Hotel. A is in Alpha. N is in November. T is in Tango. I is in Igloo. India. 108.
no underscore or anything.
Nope.
Just got it. All right. YouTube or search. No. Done. All right, let's do it. Record on here. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today and to introduce you guys to my guest. And she is here in Miami as well as I am. And we won't share the current weather conditions here for any of you guys in the Northern Hemisphere. It's probably warmer than where you are. But we're going to get a low tomorrow of 40. I shared with Jasmyn. So, pray for us out here. That's equivalent to people are going to be people are going to be shocked tomorrow wearing scarves and winter coats and snowboarding gear.
It's going to be like 12 degrees today.
But Jasmyn is a spiritual healer and a yoga practitioner. And I discovered her Instagram page just last week and saw the love and light that she was sharing and knew that we would have a fun conversation to share with you guys. And that's what we are going to do today. And so without further ado from me, I want to introduce you guys to Jasmyn Russell. And if you could share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all that good stuff. Where'd you go, Jasmine? Oh, there you go. You're muted now.
Okay,
There you
I
go.
think we good now?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry about that.
you're good.
I'm obviously not very tech savvy. We'll start with that. Yeah, my name is Jasmyn Russell. I moved to Miami about, what year is it, 2020? I moved to Miami 10 years ago after spending 4 years just traveling all over the world. I was born in Colorado, essentially raised in Arizona, where I started my meditation and yoga practice in about 2007, shortly, like immediately actually after leaving a very abusive, toxic relationship. I don't like to call anything toxic typically, because there's always a lesson and a medicine behind all of our experiences. But and through the meditation and through the yoga practice, I really discovered my individuality and my connection towards the unity, towards source, towards God, whatever you want to call it, that hidden voice amongst the silence in our thoughts. And I knew within 3 or 4 months that I was destined to teach this, because it had such a dramatic impact on the way I was able to handle leaving that relationship and then essentially leaving the country and running around the world for 4 years. And so now I've been teaching since 2008, mainly meditation. Really got on board with doing full on yoga asana practices and teaching it back in 2014. I opened up a meditation and yoga retreat company out of a hammock in Colombia on the beaches. And I stayed there for almost a year. And then I wanted to teach better in Spanish. I was already fluent in speaking, but teaching is different. So I went to Peru and did another training there. And that would be my third training, where I thought I was going into like learn from someone that was speaking Spanish, but instead he knew I spoke fluent Spanish. She spoke only English, and I ended up translating the whole course for him. So I learned very well how to teach other teachers in Spanish as well. And ended up in Greece, where I attempted to do the same thing with the meditation and yoga retreats there, but turns out most people go to drink, to eat, and party. So came back to the United States, to Miami, with my tail tucked between my legs, and took a year off from teaching, which helped me to realize that teaching and guiding and leading other people to higher levels of consciousness is my sadhana. It is my spiritual practice, more than just me sitting on the cushion by myself and trying to do it on my own. So now this year, in actually 1 week, we are debuting our very first meditation teacher training with Modern Om. It's an 8-week course, and I'm one of the lead facilitators, along with Michael Stasko and Mike Likoff, the owner of Modern Home. And that's like definitely a long story short.
Awesome. No, you said multiple things there, Jasmyn, that inspired me, and I want to share with the audience because, and I love how you even switched it around when you pointed back to toxic relationship, and then you switched it up and you said, I don't even like to call it that because there's lessons there. That's such a great like just thing for anybody out there in the audience, knowing that all of us have challenges in our life, and in the midst of them, they're going to be just that, challenging. And if we can be able to look at them, maybe not right then and there, we can get to the point where we can notice challenges and be able to not be a part of the challenge, but observe it and realize that there's something happening here, a lesson to be learned, some clarity to be had, something that you're like, ooh, I really didn't like that. I know I want more of this instead, which Jasmyn's able to do now afterwards. But even just catching that, it means that that isn't affecting her right now energy, which a lot of people out there, I notice, we're human, we can do this very easily. We're the only species on the planet that can think of a past event and bring it into our right now energy, and where it can affect our this moment and our whole day if we allow it. Like animals aren't out in the wild and you're like, oh my gosh, yesterday like there was this lion and it's just like thrown off my whole week. Like it's just, we're the only ones that do that. So
Yeah.
I love how you
Well,
switched that
I
up.
think Khalil Gibran in his book The Prophet, he talks about, it's actually the poem about parenting, that we are not, the parents didn't create the arrow, we were given the arrow, the parents were given the arrow and we get drawn back. And my guru, Swami Niranjana used the same analogy that when it feels like life is drawing us back, it's because it's going to be launching us so further forward in a karmic direction that we don't control. But it is part of that milestone and it's essential. So that's, I learned a lot about acceptance during that relationship and also letting go and non-attachment and non-attachment not only to that story while I was in it, but non-attachment to the story I was telling myself about it for probably about 8 years as the victim and actually seeing myself as a active participant for a reason.
Absolutely, absolutely. So important. Like right off the bat, like I encourage anybody out there to just to know that wherever we are in life, like what we're experiencing, just know that you're as clear as you are today about the things that you want and that you desire, because of all these challenges and all these life experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's why we're as clear as we are today. And even if you feel confused about which direction you want to go in life right now, in areas of health, relationships, financially, whatever it is, just know as we live more life experience, there's going to be new lessons and new clarity that we're going to be able to have, and it's ongoing as long as we're here. And I love your outlook right off the bat on that, Jasmyn. And it allowed you to be open to, I mean, you mentioned just going and spending 4 years out of the country, allowed you to be open to life's adventure, to synchronicity. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how did your journey unfold as far as, like, because you mentioned, obviously, learning, meditation and now teaching it, and yoga and all these things. Like, was that already a part of your life during the relationship, and then as you went off into the world to travel
Mm-hmm.
around, or is that something that you
Well,
just got inspired to
the
do?
buzzwords were part of it for certain. This particular person, he was kind of like a non-practicing believer, I guess you could say. So he definitely helped me to see that there was more to spirituality than just the Christianity that I'd subscribed to throughout my entire high school and junior high career, that I was very, very passionate about, and see that there's many, many different paths to divinity, that it's not just one. If that was his intention or purpose, I don't know. I honestly don't care. What I know is that that's what I got out of it. And, we talked very in-depthly about meditation and the benefits of it, and just that there was never any guidance to practicing it between the two of us. It was something that I definitely had to pick up and learn on my own, on the very few moments that I would have to myself. Because part of the relationship was a very strong possessiveness and protectiveness. And so when I would have time for myself, I would find myself just being alone in the car and not shutting the thoughts out, but letting them run so that they wouldn't run out of my mouth when I arrived, basically. And that's essentially what meditation has become for me. And what I'm learning through all of my different teachers and studies and practices, and from teaching other people, is what meditation and consciousness is about. It's not about blocking out the negative, quote, negative experiences. It's about allowing them to run through you the same way that we eat crappy foods all the time, and we just trust in divine intelligence that it's going to digest and we're going to be okay. We might get a little sick, but now our immune system and our body is stronger. And our mental and energetic bodies are exactly the same way. We let these experiences come in for a reason, either because we want to indulge in it, because we don't know better, because, and it's just about, don't try to block it. Spiritual Imodium AD is just like the regular Imodium AD. Eventually, all that shit's gonna come out. So.
For sure, for sure. No, I love this, and yeah, whatever we have to experience in the moment, like as things are, emotions are flowing through us. Like if we have to get, upset or angry, or if we're grieving, or whatever it is, all good, all part of the human experience. I just encourage present moment awareness for everyone, and knowing that how long we suffer is our choice, and
Mm-hmm.
especially how often we bring past suffering into the present moment, knowing that this moment is the only one promised to any of us. I personally choose to not bring past suffering into the present moment, because I don't know how many more of these present moments I'm going to have. So just a personal
Mm-hmm.
choice. I want to see what I can do that's fun, fulfilling, uplifting, inspiring, and what just things that I enjoy. And I encourage everyone, if you can catch it, if you can be aware of it, now you have the power of choice. The only reason I do any of this stuff, Jasmyn, share anything that I share, is because I like to see the light bulb switch on for people, where now we're aware. We can't become unaware of these things. Now we have the power of choice, and you can choose to do whatever you choose to do out there. I'm not trying to manipulate or persuade anyone to choose anything, because all I have control over is what I
Exactly.
choose for me. so,
Exactly.
so awesome. So now that you're in this paradise called Miami, and what I call it, just because I'm very happy to be here,
Mhm.
and you're teaching and doing things that you're inspired to do. What you mentioned with the event, that sounds like that's an in-person thing coming up soon, locally, or is that online as
Yes, it
well?
is.
Okay.
That is definitely an in-person thing, at least for the first few sessions of them. So it's a so the Modern Om is one of the very first consciousness minded companies that is more focused on community. Like you go to places like New York and LA and San Francisco, and there's so much saturation of this as a business and not as a community that they're all in competition with each other. They don't hang out with each other. They don't go to each other's studios. They don't really try to combine unless there's an event that, Yoga Journal is going to be at. Okay, yeah, we're all going to show up and meet each other. Whereas what it started to be that way in Miami. In fact, my first 4 years here, I didn't want to teach here because I just had too much competition amongst the studios. And that's not why I do this. That's not why I practice it. That's not why I want to teach it. And then Modern Om came out with a mindfulness festival where I met Mike Leacoff, the owner and CEO of the company, and we just started talking. I ended up like volunteering to work at his store and just doing whatever I could to like be a part of it, and then managing a bunch of actual events. He does this event called a Cushion Crawl, which initially it was 21 days of meditation events. So 21 events, 21 teachers, 21 venues, 21 experiences. In addition to that, there was also like movement options that you could add on to. So you bought like a one-time ticket and you could go do all of these different things. So I spent 3 or 4 months organizing all of that to be occurring in the September of 2017. And what else happened September 2017? Were you living in Miami yet?
I was, and I was getting my ticket to get out of here. It was a hurricane, right?
Yes, it was. So that was the week that we were supposed to do all this stuff. So I had to called up Mike and I'm like, hey, what the are we gonna do? like first, where are we going? Because we still have work to do. And secondly, like, what do we do with these 21 days? And so we evacuated together to his parents' ranch up in Asheville, North Carolina. And we spent 7 days just working on, first of all, making sure everyone was okay. And then secondly, making sure that we could reschedule all of this. And it led up into there being as redoing all of the work and redoing it for October. And since then, now it's reduced down to 11 days. I no longer organize the events. I told him I want to stay with the company, but I quit as far as like the organizing events goes. Like that's a little bit much for my
that's,
little brain.
that's not your bliss.
And it's not my bliss, definitely not. And so yeah, now I started just teaching as often as he asked me to. I have my 2 weekly classes every Monday and Wednesday. Mondays are at his bungalow, and Wednesdays are at a hotel down here in South Beach on Wednesday nights. And then we've got multiple different teachers that guide classes throughout the week at different venues. So we have like our one central hub, and that's where we're holding the teacher training because we really see that we have an opportunity as being the only meditation teacher training in Miami, and B, having a core group of teachers from all over the city as being active participants in the Modern Om activities, as being kind of like more of a support to raise the level of expectation as far as spirituality goes in all of these yoga and fitness studios and meditation studios and any of these other organized communities around here. So we start this week, and we'll be doing, as soon as we get through this first cycle, we're going to announce when we're going to do the next one. We just want to see how seamless this one's going to be, if it ends up being seamless.
It will work out in exactly the way that it needs to, and
Exactly where it needs to.
it's going to be in sync with. I love the intention as far as right when you first started sharing about it, how you guys have an intention for community and versus competition. This is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
all about right now in life, and for all of us out here, we're so connected right now because of social media, and Like, Jasmine and I are in the same city right now, but normally I'm talking to people that are hundreds or thousands of
Oh
miles
yeah, we're
away.
having lunch
Uh,
later this week. Just plan on
totally
it.
down. And it's just awesome
In the
how
book.
we can choose to connect with people and, ask the question, how can we benefit each other? How can we benefit humanity? How can we benefit the people that are inspired to learn and become aware of the things that we know? And the answers to these powerful questions will always, come to us. And I've been so all about this for the last several years, Jasmine, as far as just asking the universe, how can I, help, humanity? Because I'm always asking, what's the world that I want to live in? Like, what do I want to see exist that, right now exists or doesn't exist or could exist more, the way that I feel like we can all evolve together. And the answers just come in these awesome ways. And then you have, other, people that have created technologies, like we're on live streaming right now and I'm streaming this in like 6 different places. Like, I mean, it's just so many things that we can use if we want to use it for, whatever we want to use it for, but we don't have to, compete. Like, it's all good to be passionate about. There's nothing wrong with it. Do it if you want to. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about what we're doing and, excited to build your personal brand and all this stuff. Like, do it. It's all good. And at the same time, just know that, we're sharing this light, call it God, the universe, love, spirit, all it is, through the lenses of our own life experiences. So I'm sharing through the lenses of Noelle, Jasmine's sharing through the lenses of Jasmine, and we can connect with these frequencies, call it love, call it whatever it is, passion, and share, the things from here. And then if we bring someone else in or collaborate with someone else, this is why I love doing these conversations, because Jasmine's going to share through her lenses of her own unique life experiences, and it's going to inspire me to be able to share things that maybe I might not have thought to share if it weren't for her sharing the things that she shared. And it's just so much fun to like play with each other in these frequencies because we're all connected. We're all the same non-physical energy just flowing through these physical shells called Noelle, called Jasmine, called whoever you are out there as far as what your name is. So I encourage everybody to just ask yourself, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're passionate about, can you also connect and collaborate with more people to where you can make an even greater impact? And just ask the open-ended question and know that if that is something that you're excited about, the answer of how will come when you're ready to receive the answer of how. And then you could flow that out in your journey as well. Who do you have here on your lap now?
This is Kiki.
Fifi?
Kiki.
Kiki, aka,
She has her own Instagram, Kiki the Tibby.
look at you. Kiki, aka Unconditional Love. A great
Exactly.
a great
She
example.
teaches me all I need to know about love.
Absolutely. The animals and the little kids are great teachers for us all. I love it.
Except she's much more jealous than I am.
She just wants more love from her mom. It's all good.
Exactly. She's not about sharing.
I love it. I love it. Well, what are you excited about, besides your event coming up, and like what's the world of Jasmine look
Oh
like
my
2020? What are you
God, I'm
excited
so
about?
excited. So yesterday, yes, so part of the cushion crawl, we're in the middle of one of them right now, the 11 day one, and I always teach at them. I'm always excited about whatever venue. And I guess you could say it's my specialty is I do sound healing, but I don't use bowls, I don't use instruments. I use the instrument that I was endowed with, which is my singing voice. So I was a classical singer throughout all of high school, but I've always kind of had this fear that people aren't going to like that voice. So I always kind of sang more in like the chest voice whenever I've done these things. And I sing mantra and I sing for 25, 30 minutes. And just this whole year has kind of been a year. I know it's only been like what 20 something days, but the whole point of this year is for me to kind of be more of a yes person towards the things that I'm resistant to. And it occurred to me that in 2009, my guru, while I was staying in the ashram, had asked me to sing mantra but use my classical voice. Like he loved the classical voice. He was the first person that ever asked me, "Are you a singer?" That I like vehemently said, "Yes, I am." And it was probably a little pride and ego, but it still felt very true. And so he had asked me to sing at Shivaratri ceremony, which is like a celebration of Shiva and high consciousness. But I didn't really know how to prepare for it because I was scared. He wanted me to channel, to just come with some spontaneous mantra, and I'm like, I can't do that. And so we didn't. I just painted statues for him instead. Anyway, long story comes down to I was thinking about that when I knew that this was coming up, and I felt that my voice itself was shifting, and I remembered my voice teacher having told me the last time I saw her a year ago, that if I'm using my voice to raise consciousness, then I need to raise the vibration of my voice. And that doesn't mean sing louder. That means sing in the key that I was born to be singing in. And so I went out on a limb yesterday and in front of 65, 70 people. Luckily, they're like my close community I feel comfortable with. I sang in classical style channeled mantra, and I'm very excited to do more of that, to start producing some tracks that people can download and actually use it for healing in their own personal space as well.
I saw your I normally don't look at people's, I don't dig too deep before I have these conversations because I like it to be like a first conversation that I would want to have with someone anyway. That's kind of the vibe that I like to have because I'm
All my
asking you.
conversations are going to be like that. Don't
Well, I
worry.
know I'm that way. I'm that way too. But I actually was on your Instagram and I saw your story and you singing there. And the first thought that I had was I thought it was like almost like, because you mentioned you compared it like a sound healing, and like the sound, like the key of your voice was just like that. It was like a, it was almost like it was like a musical instrument, but it was your voice. Like I was
Like
wondering,
a singing bowl.
yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was like what instrument or what. I was wondering what like technology they were using to. I was like, wait, that's she's singing that way.
Yeah, it's
So
technology and the reverb effect. That's
yeah,
it.
no, that's awesome. Definitely do more of that because that was super peaceful. Just in the couple seconds that I was on your
Yeah.
story, I was like the vibe of this. I love music. I love
Well, the live
frequencies.
story is still there. You can still see it. So
Yes. For anybody
that's pretty
watching live,
cool.
you guys can go on Jasmyn's
Exactly.
Jasmyn. It won't
Past it.
the story won't be there by the time this episode comes out, but right now you can still see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Well, one thing I like to ask all guests, Jasmyn, and you've been doing it the whole time, but anything that pours out of you, it doesn't matter what the subject is, anything that comes out, but no matter when someone hears this episode, whether it be right when it's released or 100 years from now, they discover like what are these things called podcasts that these humans were doing back in the 2020s. Anything that you feel just from things that you become aware of that have benefited you that you want to share with humanity, that whenever they hear this you feel will impact them, uplift them. Anything that flows out of you is perfect, that perfect thing.
Well, right now my lessons are definitely about living up to what unconditional love really means. And so many times we want this unconditional love, but we go into it, no matter if it's with our dog, with our family, with our partner, with other partners, and we come in there with all these conditions. And I'm being challenged on my own in a new relationship of what unconditional love really does mean to me. It's not just about what they've done in the past, what they're doing now, but actually turning that back on myself is, can I still unconditionally love myself even though I have these certain resistances, even though I obviously am coming with some conditions? Can I actually still look at myself and be like, you know what, I'm still proud that I'm working through this, I'm still moving through this? Because the only way to be able to go into any loving relationship, which all of the relationships that we have, whether it's even the business relationships, those will flourish and grow so much more if they stem from that feeling of actual unconditional love. It doesn't mean unconditional treatment. It doesn't mean unconditional relationship, but it does mean that unconditional acceptance of love. So it's not unconditional forgiveness even. It's unconditional acceptance of things how they are, so that we can navigate, okay, what is actually going to work for my personality, so I'm not in constant battle with myself. Do I want to stay in it? Or am I going to find peace more someplace else? Bless whatever this is with love and then move on.
I love it. Super powerful. So you just inspire me a lot, and I'm going to share something.
Good.
I'm going to share something with the audience now that will be of great benefit if it resonates with you where you are, wherever you are right now. Unconditional love and every frequency, because if we were, I've been to events, Jasmyn, where like I've had the EEG little scanners on my brain and that measure frequency, and you could see like where our vibration is, our frequency is right now in the moment. And when it comes to what we would call being love, that can only be right now in the moment. And even if I say I'm unconditionally loving to someone, or I'm loving to someone, or I love someone, if right now in the moment I'm yelling at them or being critical of them or any of this, right now I'm not being love. I might love them if I take a lie
Exactly.
detector test, like I'm sure I'll pass and say I love them, But as far as what am I being, what's my present moment frequency, is all that really exists and all that we can really control, which can give us all a lot of peace, just being able to ask ourselves. And you mentioned this a second ago, and this was earlier in the conversation as far as I don't know if I'll go right back to what you said, but you mentioned like being in the car and getting things out before you went and interacted with the person you were going to interact with. And what I took from that is like you were allowing your vibration, your frequency to be as like maybe you weren't, getting that stuff out and like walking in like blissful. Not saying that I mean, if we can do that, then outstanding, it's
Yeah.
possible. But you're not holding on to things that for sure that resistance is going to not even allow you to be at peace or at content or at calm.
Mm-hmm.
And by getting that stuff out, you were able to at least walk into the situation at peace, which from there, momentum can carry us up to where we're having a good time, we're happy, we're being loved, in those moments. And so I challenge everybody just to just be mindful and aware of what our present moment frequency is. And if we can allow it to be at peace to where now we're a match to awesome ideas and synchronicities, meeting cool people and life experiences. And then when we're with our partners, when we're with in any type of relationship, whether it be intimate relationship, family, friends, whatever it is, just asking ourselves, am I being loved right now? And am I connected to God, all that is, love, all the universe, source energy, the force, as one of my recent guests called it.
Divine, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. And if you're connected, you can be really, really excited to interact with this person because you're interacting from that connection and you don't have to question, how are you being? What are you saying? What are your actions? Because they're going to be from that
Yeah,
place.
no matter what vibration they are at, whether it's at the lower or higher, like if we do make that purpose to vibrate, to emanate that unconditional love, to emanate peace and tranquility to them, they don't have a choice. Their vibration's gonna go a little bit higher. They're either gonna fall away because it scares the shit out of them,
I was going to say, or they're going to leave for sure.
or they're gonna be like, hey, I like the way this feels. How do I do more of what you're doing?
For sure.
And so that's actually what ended up happening in that relationship. I never actually had to tell him I'm leaving. He came out after I actually had a deep meditation, like a real one, where I sat down, looked at a tree, and like I was like, "What is it like to be a tree?" And just let everything kind of feel very peaceful. He came out and he looked at me and he knew, and I didn't even know yet. He said it to me. He's like, "You're leaving." I'm like, I guess I am. I guess I am. And then I left the next day. I didn't need to make a big drama out of it. There's plenty of drama in the relationship before that. I just chose, like, if this isn't about me not wanting to be with him anymore, I can unconditional love. I can accept anything. It's about how do I want to feel, and I want to feel at peace, and I want to feel loved myself, and I'm not going to do that while I'm here battling someone else's demons. And so I was able to step away from it.
Absolutely. So profound what Jasmyn just said. For all you guys out there in the audience, this makes life so much easier than we make it if we just make the only thing that's important to us is what we can control, which is our own frequency, our own vibration. Like we were saying, I love how you just highlighted that. I was going to highlight it if you didn't, Jasmyn, and you just highlighted it beautifully. Like the only thing that will happen if we just decide to go in any situation or any relationship or anything with another human being and our frequency is where it is, they're either going to join us and play with us in that frequency. We may join them, which is I highly recommend. Like you're not like, oh, I was in such a good mood, and then you came, and now it's all your fault. Like now I feel like crap. You're always raining on my parade. That can happen. Don't allow that to be you, because we've probably all done it. Or if you just decide to hold your frequency, and they want to spend life being frustrated, worried, anxious on a regular basis, you guys will be moved out of each other's experience. You don't really even have to try. And what makes life so much fun when it comes to relationship is one, there's 7.7 billion humans on the planet, and all any of us have to do is get really crystal clear by life experience, by that clarity as far as of this moment, what is it that I desire for me, and what am I choosing, how am I choosing to live? And then you can attract the frequency, the other humans that want to vibe with you in that frequency and enjoy life there. You don't have to try to manipulate and control and get someone to join you and like see life the way you see it. Mm-hmm. It's not necessary, and it's not even possible, because we all have free will and we're all going to choose to spend life however we choose to spend it. And the older that we get, it becomes habits for us where, if you have people in your life right now out there and they're constantly, not to judge them or make them wrong for it, but if they're constantly looking at life as glass half empty, pessimistic, complaining, that has become a habit for them. statistically, scientifically, is by the time we turn 30, over 90% of our thoughts have become habitual, and we think 70,000 thoughts per day.
Mhm.
So if
The
someone's,
frontal lobe is formed,
yeah,
and it's like most people, it's like you're not shifting them out of it. Most people,
for sure.
unless they choose otherwise.
Exactly. We can, but the great news for all of us, we can change that. We can shift it, but it has to come from personal choice. You will not change it for them.
Yeah.
So save
Yeah.
yourself the years of headache, and just get good with you. Be that a state of being of unconditional love. You know, love yourself first, and then you have love to give, and then you know you can attract the people that you want to experience life with, in whatever capacity. So I love that you just said that and inspired all of that, because that's anytime I could just give that as a reminder. This is not anything that we don't innately know. There's nothing that Kiki doesn't already know, and any little kids running around here. Like, we all are naturally this when we come from the non-physical and come into these physical bodies. We just forget along the way, and just have to remember.
I think that's why I actually have the opposite of fear of speaking publicly. So yesterday I kind of expected there to be like 100, 150 people there. I get more stage fright when there's less people in the room, because I know that the higher amount of people that are there, there's more vibratory energies, and I can sit there and like just create my own. And there's at least going to be one person out of 7 billion that's going to like it. One person out of 7 billion that I can help. It's for me, it's much more of a challenge when I'm making eye contact with 5 people and they're like, "Hey, sing." I'm like, "Okay, I feel judged." But much easier to raise the vibration when there's a whole community there. So, but it's not, it can be very lonely when you decide to stay. Like if you're already just surrounded by the lower frequencies, the complainers, the whiners, the ones that are still sleeping, essentially. When you decide to wake up, when you're like, okay, it's time to step out of this nightmare, it's time to step out of this dream, it's not always the fact that you immediately meet people that are at the high vibration. You first step into the medium vibration, and then like a little bit higher, and then you get dragged back down again. But you've already met that high vibration, and it can feel very lonely because you know that it's there, and you know that it's work to get there. It's work to retrain the brain. It's an everyday commitment. It's not like there's no microwave dinner. Here you go, 3 minutes, and you're enlightened for the rest of your life.
For
you
sure.
might get it for a moment. Even plant medicines. I've done the ayahuasca ceremonies when I was in Colombia. My 30th birthday, I went down the Amazons by myself and was like, hey, I'm going to try to find a tribe. Luckily, a very nice couple found me before I went and put myself in harm's way. And I did 5 days of ceremonies, 3 ceremonies over 5 days. And I felt my guru come and tell me, he's like, you took the shortcut. That's okay, but now your work is going to be harder, because now you know where you could have gone easily through the path of meditation and been able to just hang out there. Now you're going to snap back, and now you've got to take all those lessons with you. So yeah, it was a more fun experience than just sitting in meditation for 10 years in an ashram, but it became this daily commitment where the plant medicine teaches me every day, and that was in 2014. I still learn every single day. I'm like, oh yeah, there was that one thing. So
I love it. I love what you just said, and it's so important. And the reason I titled this podcast "Enlightened Conversations" is because I knew that the conversation in and of itself, not that the people on it are enlightened all day, every day, including me, because that isn't. It's always present moment.
I'm still smoking this stupid thing.
I was going to ask you what was in there, THC or something else. Don't answer that. We're in Florida. Don't answer that. We're not in California. Perfect. But yeah, so that is awesome awareness for everybody, because in the moment, if you are feeling good, then in that moment when you're connected, then you are enlightened in that moment. You can trust the thoughts, the words, the actions, and the results that you get are going to be a match to that. I'll share something with you, Jasmyn, that you mentioned, because I felt what you felt when it comes to small audiences. I've spoken in front of large audience and also small audiences. And what I noticed about it is I still control. The only thing that I control is with the energy that I bring to the room. At the same time, when it's a larger audience and like people are like involved and engaged, like I notice like where I can go as far as like, woof, like that was powerful, because I'm just like with all the whole audience. And when it's like a smaller audience and maybe it's like kind of like dead, like in the room, like dead stares, then it's just kind of like, then you start getting in your head like, damn, like what, is this like, am I flowing the
Like
way
the
I want to
corporate
flow?
boardroom, those are
Yeah.
like my biggest fears. The corporate boardroom where I'm sitting in the front of 10 people. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really gonna have to bring it for this
So what I've learned, and no
one.
matter what the size audience, like I just set the intention now of just going in beforehand and just deciding that I'm going to have as much fun as humanly possible. And I love that we can record everything now and like live stream and do all this stuff, because regardless if there's like three people in the room, I'm still going to record it, and I'm going to go in with the intention of impacting those three and having as much fun as I can have, and just seeing what kind of powerful energy I can flow out. And then I have it recorded, so I might be able to use it for other stuff later on. So that helps
Mhm.
me as far as like the ability to capture it and like use it later, and then just the intention of just having fun with it and just seeing what flows out. Because this, like when we're connected, and this for all of us out there, there's no special breed of human, by the way. So anything that I share or any guest shares, like you all have the capability, all of us, to flow all this energy out as well. But it's awesome when you're connected and like momentum kicks in and like you're just feeling really, really good, and you start like, if you're speaking or singing or doing anything, you can surprise yourself with like some of the things that you say, and you're like, whew, that was good. Like that flowed out nicely. Something that you may have never, like I'll see myself saying stuff sometimes and I'll be like, I've never said that before. Like that's awesome. And you're just like channeling from
Oh
this
yeah.
frequency where, so it's like,
Like I learned from my own class today. That was awesome.
yeah. So, I mean, there's much more going on than any of us consciously know. Just know that we all can connect with this awesome energy, and it makes life fun, and just enjoy it. When you know you're feeling good, like that's the time where any obligations that you have, if you're working or if you have an important call that you need to make, or, whatever it is, like really utilize those times. Like just see how much life you can live in those times. Like be around people, like just let everybody feel your light, because you're just going to uplift the entire space of where you are. And it could just, I mean, you have no idea what synchronicities and awesome stuff can happen when we're vibing high. And then when in
Also,
reverse,
I think it's like meditation is so important. Like
yes.
I don't believe that there's any of you that's watching, if you're going to tell me that you can't meditate, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. If you're willing, I can teach you. I've succeeded 100% of the time with anyone, corporate CEOs that have $2.6 million companies, and I've gotten them to actually be able to turn off not their mind, but turn off like their phones and their judgments and everything, all of their resistances for at least those 10 minutes, so that they're like, hey, okay, it's okay to think. It's important for us to be able to be comfortable even listening to the thoughts that we think don't matter, because there's some reason like our minds are still, even though they're just like a function of the body essentially, because all the, if we get into the biology of the way that the brain works, the neuroscience, which is synapses, it was still part of our dharma, it's still part of our destiny, it's still part of our path, and it's there for a reason. And when we just keep on resisting and holding it back, we're missing the message. If there's something that's in your mind that keeps on hitting and hitting, just listen to it. Listen to it, see it through, because what's beyond it might be the message that you need in order to reconnect with your alignment, to reconnect with the synchronicity. When I have thoughts that seem like they're completely out of my alignment, and they're obsessive, and I'm dwelling, and I'm let it become an emotional reaction, then I end up just staying. And I actually have struggles with depression and anxiety. I imagine it as like a little dark cloud that kind of follows me. But rather than pretending it's not there, I kind of put a leash around it and was like, okay, I'm going to use you because you're going to help me stay aware and stay keen of those moments that aren't in alignment with what I really want, with how I really want to feel, with who I really want to be. And I listen, and I take a lot of time during my day, not just the 30 minutes in the morning, not just the 20 minutes at night, to actually take some space. Like, not only do I go to the bathroom because I've got a bladder of a 5-year-old, but I actually use that time to be like, okay, let's sit and listen. I'm not sitting there praying and talking to God and telling him everything that I want or anything like that. I believe divine intelligence knows. It's more like I'm there to just sit and listen to either the feelings that compel me or the thoughts that compel me towards that higher frequency, to that higher blissful feeling.
I love it. And is that something that people, for you, Jasmyn, they can connect with you, and as far as meditation stuff? Because I know that
Yes.
so all Jasmyn's links and all the stuff here, definitely connect with her. And because just the energy that I can feel from you and the way that you describe and how you share, for anybody out there listening, if there's even a slight pull as far as wanting to, to discover, what is true for all of us, how we can all meditate, because I agree 1,000,000%. Again, no special breed of human. So if Jasmyn can meditate, if I can meditate, so can any of you out there. So definitely follow through on that pull. And without meditation, Jasmyn, like, I mean, life would be totally different, because the only reason that people experience me the way they experience me, whether it be on these podcasts or out in the world or anything, is because when I wake up every day, like, my first intention is to, like, I get up, I pee and I drink some water, and then I meditate for 15, 20 minutes. My meditation doesn't stop until I'm feeling an energy that I want to feel. Might call it peace and calm. Sometimes I might get up to where I'm just blissed out and I'm just really vibing, but I don't get up until I'm feeling to where I'm excited to start the day from that frequency. And not that I'll even stay there all day. I can, but it's not that I'm stay there all day, but I have a better chance of having awesome synchronicities in my day flowing versus what I've done in the past. And I'm sure you guys out there listening have done at some point. You get on your phone and you're like, oh crap, I got all this stuff to do today, or I got fires to put out, or stuff already like going on the wrong direction to start the day.
That's what Insight Timer's for.
Yeah. Insight Timer, what is that?
To remind you, Insight Timer is the app that I use because I like to do what you're saying, like sitting until I feel at peace, until I feel bliss or peace. But that's not always a luxury that I have. Time is not always like the luxury that I have, especially if I'm like doing a corporate thing in Pompano. It's a 2-hour drive in the middle of traffic. I got to wake up at 4:30. Like, okay, I'm going to do 15 minutes today. And meditation doesn't always end in bliss. It doesn't always end in peace. Sometimes it ends with you feeling more anxious, but it's that acceptance and that unconditional love of yourself and of your mind going, okay, the meditation continues after you get up out of the seat. If you can accept that, your meditation process will continue after you get up out of your seat, just like the digestion process continues after you get done eating or after you go to the bathroom. It still is happening. If you can accept that and just, in yoga, there's a discipline called Ishvana Pranidhaha, and it means acceptance of divine will. If that's what the divine will is, you only have 5 minutes this morning, 10 minutes, 15. You don't have the luxury of sitting for sometimes the 45 minutes to an hour that it takes to get to that high vibe state. Then do it anyways. It's okay to like not get completely clean when you go to take a shower, as long as you took the shower. Just at least get some of the stench off. Like get a little bit of it off.
For sure. I love that. That's such real advice too, because yeah, you're right. That you don't. It's rare that I set 4:30 a.m. appointments in Pompano Beach, so I feel you on that. So
me too.
Rare as it never. But no, I feel you on that. And for you out there, even if you're not like, say you wake up tomorrow and you're not inspired to meditate, because I'm all about just taking inspired action. Inspire, the root of inspired is inspire, from spirit. And so you can, those are great, next steps on our journey. But even if you could just wake up and just be appreciative to be awake, that you have a roof over your head, just start your flow in a direction that you want it to be, is my best advice to anyone. Because when we're sleeping, like, we're not stressing. And then when we wake up in the morning, we have a choice as far as what's my first thought, second thought, third thought, and so on going to be of the day. And whatever we choose is what's going to start the momentum. And if we're not aware of this, we can start off on, it's just kind of, we're at the mercy of what we see on our phone first, or whatever we're thinking about first. Mm-hmm. Maybe we're thinking about something stressful before you went to bed, and then you pick right back up where you left off when you wake up. Now it's just like flowing that day, just what we were talking about, bring yesterday's baggage into today. It's a choice. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. I want
to come back to what you said about inspire. So I've heard the in spirit from Wayne Dyer, but I got inspired myself to think about, like, what does the word spire actually mean? And the spire is like a pyramid. It's like something that is meant to lift something up, to heighten it, but it starts with a foundation. It always starts with a foundation. You don't start from the point and then work your way down. When the spires are in the caves and in the caverns and stuff, they start from the ground, and you build up that foundation. That needs to be strong first, and that comes with just that consistent practice, whether it's the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, whatever you can commit to. And then from that, as soon as you get comfortable, you'll start to feel yourself elevating. And then you might be able to get to that every day, being able to sit for 25 minutes and get to that blissful state. But you need to first be understanding that spire, that spirit, is built on a foundation. It's not just like, it doesn't hit and then it's there forever.
It's true. you've mentioned parts of this multiple times in this conversation. I love that this is where your perspective is because it's so important for all of us because this makes us feel more connected and the same as far as what we all have the capability of being, who we all truly are, versus that person's like this just special human that can meditate like really well and like that. That's not for me, and it's just not. It's always in the moment, and some days yes, some days it won't be. Some days you'll be able to get to bliss, some days you won't. Just life is just about setting the intention and just deciding to do it. And you just feel really good that the fact, and I love that you're suggesting even just do it for a couple of minutes, because that just feels good that you started somewhere and you took, positive momentum towards the direction that, you want to go. And so,
I
um,
still have days where I'm looking at the, like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, don't open your eyes. You can't control time. Don't open your eyes. You can't control time. I open my eyes anyways. I'm like, shit, it's only been 5 minutes. When is the timer going to go off? Like, it still happens. It's like life doesn't suddenly change and everything becomes your perfect ideal just because you decided to, become a spiritual aspirant. It's more like your perspective of it changes and you see the perfection around it if you commit yourself to changing the way that you think, which sometimes is just that 5 minutes a day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just want to encourage everybody out there when you start feeling yourself moving in a direction that you want to go, whether it be through meditation or just enjoying something that you really love, being present to it. If you can allow yourself to just be fully in that moment, knowing that you're the only one that chose to do that meditation or to go spend that time with friends or to read a book by yourself out on the beach or in the park or whatever it is, and you can allow yourself to just really just allow the rest of the universe to not exist and you just be there fully in that moment. Momentum is such an awesome part of this human experience. And I just encourage everybody to just be aware of when your momentum is moving in the direction that you like it to go. Also, when you don't like it, where you don't like it to go, because then you could at least be aware of it and do something about it so you can slow it down so you don't spiral off into all out depression and powerless, which we've all been there. But momentum takes you there. You'll never go from being at peace or content to depressed in like 1 second, but you'll spiral into worry, frustration, anxiety, anger, rage, powerless, depressed,
Mm-hmm.
grieving, whatever it is, and vice versa. So I really encourage us to be aware so that when we are feeling good and enjoying anything in life, we allow the momentum to continue carrying us. And like life is so awesome when we're feeling good, and momentum is carrying us to even higher realms. Like for me, if I'm spending time with someone and I'm enjoying that time, like people that are in my life just know, like if Noel's phone is on do not disturb and you can't get him, he just doesn't exist on the planet
Mm-hmm.
right now for you. Like as I'm so focused on whatever I'm doing because I'm enjoying myself. Like there's nothing on my phone that's going to be more fun than hanging out with someone in real life, just personally. So if I'm chosen to do that with my time, then the phone stuff it'll be there when I get back to it, and then that'll be my focus. So
Yeah.
I
I
love.
just went on vacation for 6 days, and the first 3 days, I gave my man my phone the entire time because he was preventing me from posting. He was like, "You're stop working. You're on vacation." And secondly, I didn't need it. All my friends knew I was with the people that I wanted to be interacting with, and they didn't take it personally. And then the third day when my phone got stolen, I think he was more upset than I was about it. I was just like, okay, well, I wasn't talking to anyone anyways. You're here, so this is it was actually very good for me to not have any kind of access to phones or anything like that for about 2 or 3 days.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. It's been an awesome conversation, Jasmyn. I really appreciate you. And I'm excited to now know that you exist on this planet. We didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I'm right around the corner. We're going to lunch.
And yeah, just appreciate you sharing your love and light with the audience. Hello, hello. You
And
guys saying
would
hi
like
on
to I would like
Instagram?
to recommend a few books to
Please.
people to read if they would like. I really recommend when it comes down to it, I'd like my message to be about unconditional love and emanating peace. If you have not read Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements, get the audiobook, get the regular book, read it 20 times. Just read it over and over, listen to it over and over again. And then after you read that at least once or twice, get the Mastery of Love. Because the Mastery of Love is all about how to be a better lover, not in the sense of the way that we want, but like as a better lover, as being able to love people unconditionally by loving yourself, by creating your own kitchen of love so you don't have to keep on ordering delivery. Mastery of Love.
Oops. I love that message. I love that message. I just went on our live to see if there's questions, and I've read both of those books and awesome, awesome suggestions. the four
And in
agreements
the end, you'll
especially.
become a better lover at the other way too. So
It all works together. You can't be the
it sure
you
does.
can't be the best lover in that context unless you're being loved right now in the moment, either. So
Exactly.
it all works together. I love it. I love it. And don't take anything personal. That's my favorite agreement out
Exactly.
of out of the four
Exactly.
agreements. Like it's just know that everything is happening for us, and even if we can't see why things are happening right here, right now, we don't need to know right here and now. It'll be clear to us though at some point moving forward, and the key is just to
Did you
to experience it. And what did you about to say?
did you ever read any of Louise Hay? You Can Heal Your Life.
So I no, but I'm very aware of Louise Hay and speak very highly. I'd have guessed that like the way she promoted Heal Your Life, I was like, if they need someone to promote this book, like you need to be the
Yes.
one. Like,
That used to be me, but
yeah,
now I've got my own kind of style of things. But one thing that she said that helped me through finally healing from the traumas of that relationship. But one thing that she says, anything that I need to know will come to me in its due time, when it's supposed to, when I'm meant to know it. You don't need to go searching for it. You don't need to go searching for truth. You don't need to go searching for your lover. You don't need to go searching for your partner, for the right job. It is coming to you. You just need to be able to sit with unconditional love for yourself where you're at right now. Be comfortable with that and listen for it. For me, it's listening, like listening for the signs, listening for the message, listening for the music, whatever.
absolutely. And I'll take that even to somewhere else, just in the same note. Just know that when you're able to hear and see synchronicities that we like, whether it be meeting people or good ideas or whatever it is, that typically comes in a match to the frequency of at least being at peace, content. When you're connected, when you can hear, when you're connected to God, love, all that is, like that's when you can actually hear the messages and hear the things that you need to hear, see the things that you need to see. When we're in some of the other frequencies, nothing wrong with them, but you're a match to synchronicities that you really don't want to experience. So we talk a lot about
Exactly.
synchronicities, but normally people just talk about awesome synchronicities that they like. There's also things that we're going to experience when we're spending a lot of time stressed, the frequency of stress, whatever you want to call that, where now we're vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
to physical illness or getting into an accident or lots of other things that we could never predict. So yeah, it's awesome to be able to be aware of. I have these questions for the universe, and I know the answers are going to come. That's a really good vibration to be in. Just not needing to know how, what, when, where, who right now. Which you
Mm-hmm.
try to figure that out too soon. That's called anxious. That's called That's called
Yep,
anxiety.
that's fear. It's all fear.
So
Loving and living your life as it is right now, as passionately and as admirable. I like to use the word admire when I teach a meditation. Admire your thoughts, because that word admire is like with love, like you admire something because you respect it. So loving and living your life as passionately and as admirably as the life that you want is not going to stop that life you want from coming. It's actually going to attract it more, because what does the you don't have to think about spirit of the universe. How do people react when you give them love and admiration and passion? They give you more of it, and they give it to you in grander scale. Like just people in general, just your boss will do it, your partner will do it, your sister, your brother. If provided they're healthy people, will respond in a way that is loving and with admiration and respect. And so you got to treat your life, your house, pillows, whatever it is, with that same thing. And eventually, when the wheels keep on turning, rather than you allowing yourself to stay stuck in your own dwelling of self pity and self loathing, then you get yourself out of that, and beautiful things start to happen around you that were already happening. You just have your eyes open to see it.
absolutely, I love that. I love that. Being really appreciative for what is, and at the same time being really excited for everything that's evolving. Not even know how,
Stay
what, when, where.
excited.
Yeah,
Stay excited.
look at life as an adventure. Like this is a movie and you're the star. So whatever you want to see on the movie screen, be really excited for that plot to unfold and be really, really excited that you don't have to figure out how to make it unfold because that's not our work.
Exactly.
Because that would be really tough. It's like I want
No,
this on
thank
my
God,
screen, but I have
no.
to,
Like,
I have to write the whole plot. Jeez, that sounds rough. Um,
trust me, he scripts it better than we do.
right? 100%.
Well, I want to thank you, because I did
Yes.
wake up with that little cloud this morning, and I was aware of it. And, talked it through and did like my meditation, and was planning on doing a intense yoga practice, because that typically helps me work through all that energy. I actually had a deep conversation instead, but what kept me focused was I was super excited about this call.
Awesome. That makes me happy. I knew where we were gonna. I knew what frequency we were playing on, Jasmyn. There was only option for us to enjoy life up here during this conversation.
I made a good time. Like I was like, okay, when can I sign up? Okay, first slot available.
You did. And actually, it's funny you said that. Every guest that's done that has been an awesome conversation because they just are going off inspired action. Like there's no like second guessing for like nothing wrong with this for any guests that are out there that haven't scheduled yet. It's all in perfect timing. That's how I respond to everyone. Like if someone cancels or needs to reschedule, it's all in perfect timing. I'm not trying to force or manipulate anything. When someone's excited to talk to me, I'm excited to talk to them, and I know what frequency we're going to enjoy life on, and we're just going to see how much we can flow it out there to give value to whoever's listening. So I appreciate you saying that. I'm just as excited to talk to you. And I talked to someone earlier today that's freaking doing awesome stuff they're in Switzerland right now. And so it's just fun.
I've got a guy for you in Pueblo, Colorado. You've got to talk to Brad Manifest Love. You got to look him up.
That's his name, Brad Manifest Love. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's a love and communication coach. His presence in my life last year as a very good friend definitely helped me get out of the place where I felt I was stuck. You got to talk to him. He's all love and light. He's amazing.
Send me his. Is that how you do his on Instagram? Brad, we'll give him a shout out. Brad Manifest Love. Is that how I find him?
Yep, that's why I said it. Yes, Brad Manifest Love.
He'll have, this is how fast I work off inspired action. He'll have a voice message from me saying that I just had a conversation
he loves
with.
Voice messages. Awesome.
That's all I send because I just need you to feel what I'm feeling. Like I can't sit there and type all this stuff. Like it looks like a freaking essay if I say all that stuff I'm writing. But he'll have a voice message from me within minutes of us ending this. So just as inspiration. Yeah. Well, you're awesome, Jasmyn. I really appreciate you, and excited for the audience now to know who you are as well, for those that don't already. And definitely follow Jasmyn and follow her journey. I know anything she chooses to flow her energy into is going to be awesome. You're going to feel the same energy you felt from her today. And that's what makes it so amazing, being connected here on social media and knowing that another one of the 7.7 billion humans exists that we didn't know existed now. And I'm just excited for everybody out there. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm going to say that all year. Why not?
Happy New Year.
And
welcome to the important 1%.
What do you mean by that? What is it?
We got the 1% that are all the billionaires in the world, and then the 1% that are like the billionaires in a different type of abundance and love and spirituality. That 1%.
You can have it all. But I feel you on that.
Yeah. We can have it all. I agree with you.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Definitely share this episode with anyone that popped into your mind. It was no coincidence. You'll definitely positively impact them with Jasmyn's love and light that she shared. And definitely rate and review this and subscribe if you haven't already. Make it easier for people to find these beautiful episodes. And we'll keep interviewing and talking with awesome humans like Jasmyn and sharing this love and light with you all. So sending positive vibes to everyone. Jasmyn is going to.
Well, I look forward to coming back.
Yes, for sure. I'm happy we're in the same city. Put Miami as one of your travel destinations for all you
come see
cold weather people right now. It's a good spot. Except for tomorrow, it's going to be 41. But then after that, it'll be back.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. We'll talk to you guys soon. Awesome. So much fun, Jasmyn. All right, I'm gonna end this stream and then I'm gonna tell you bye officially.